If you depend on computers and software, VIA Graphics Video Training is the right choice for you. When you use video training, you learn faster, retain more, and perform better at your computer. And best of all, less time at your computer means more time for you and the things that are really important. Why bother with expensive seminars and time-consuming classes? You can get the best training available anywhere, at home, in the office, or anywhere you have a VCR. If you're a beginner, our easy-to-follow tapes start with the fundamentals of your program and then teach you the most commonly used features. You'll become more confident and productive after watching just one time. And if at any time you don't understand a section or want to review, with VIA Graphics Video Training, it's as easy as rewinding the tape. If you're an experienced user, you already know how valuable a tool your computer can be. VIA Graphics training tapes are the perfect way to get the most from your software. Our training videos show you how to fine-tune the options, update technical information, and take the features you already use an added step further, all in an easy-to-understand way. Word processing, desktop publishing, business graphics, computer-aided design. You can learn quickly and effectively. If you use computers, decide today to make your life better. The sooner you use video training, the sooner you can put your computer to work for you, and the sooner you can be on your way to the flexibility and productivity that will give you the time for the things you really enjoy. Get started today. Now, more than ever, keeping up with the world means keeping up with computer technology and software. VIA Graphics, the leader in video training services, is proud to present this video tutorial.
Hello and welcome to this video tutorial, Upgrading to WordPerfect 6. I'm Kurt Gwartney, along with Michelle Heckendorf.
WordPerfect 6 is the newest version of this popular program. This is the first upgrade of this DOS-based word processor in more than 3 years.
There are hundreds of new and enhanced features in version 6. In this tape, we will show you many of these additions and enhancements to WordPerfect.
We'll focus on some of the more powerful changes while showing you the looks of the new program. Here are some of the specific items we'll cover in this tutorial. We'll begin with a discussion of changes in the WordPerfect environment. This will include the use of dialog boxes. We will also use the new file management features. Then we will look at the improved print preview feature.
We'll show you the 3 different interface modes: text mode, graphics mode, and page mode. Then we'll explore the new scalable font features. We'll also demonstrate the help options.
After this, we'll demonstrate the new selectable merge options. We will also use the Quick Finder to locate the information we need.
Drag and drop graphics is the next area we'll show you. We'll move on to using the built-in grammar checker included with WordPerfect 6.
After this, we will show you the improved multiple documents feature and the undo command. We will also demonstrate the envelope creation and more powerful macro capabilities.
Finally, we'll show you the new spreadsheet functionality of the program and its fax capabilities.
For the purposes of this video, we assume that you have WordPerfect version 6.0 installed on your computer's hard drive. You should be familiar with the operation of WordPerfect version 5.0 or 5.1 before using this tape.
If you are a new or inexperienced WordPerfect user, refer to the other VIA Graphics WordPerfect 6 tutorials for detailed instructions on getting the most from this software.
We recommend that you first watch this tape all the way through once. After this first viewing, rewind the tape and play it again, this time working through the examples at your own computer.
Now, let's begin by starting the program.
We're at the DOS prompt on our computer. We change to the WP60 subdirectory and enter WP. Notice that when the screen appears, we automatically see the menu bar at the top of the WordPerfect editing screen. Also at the bottom left of the screen, we see the currently selected font. To access the menu bar, we can place the mouse pointer over the menu we want and click on it. Or we can press the Alt key in combination with the first letter of the menu item. For example, we press Alt-F to see the File menu. The menu appears on the screen and we see the commands. We select a command from the pull-down menu using the keyboard by either pressing the highlighted letter or by moving the highlight over the option with the arrow keys. We can also click on it with the mouse. We select Setup. Notice that another menu pops up. The arrow to the right of Setup means that this menu has a sub-menu. We will select the Location of Files option. Now we see something new to WordPerfect 6, a dialog box. Previous versions of WordPerfect used full-screen menus instead of dialog boxes.
With version 6, we use dialog boxes to make selections and to change program settings.
And as you'll see in a moment, even dialog boxes can have their own dialog boxes. For example, when we press number 5 for Style Files, another dialog box appears. Now we can enter the appropriate information in this dialog box. Notice that the directory tree and quick list options are not currently active. When we press an option like 1, the area near Directory for Personal Libraries is highlighted. Also, the directory tree and quick list options are now active.
The directory tree and quick list features are new to WordPerfect 6. These two options help with file management.
We'll focus on the directory tree now and take a look at the quick list a little later in the video. With the directory for personal libraries highlighted, we press F8 for the directory tree. Now the tree window appears on the screen. The current directory is C:\WP docs. We can move within this tree structure by using the arrow keys or the mouse. At the top of the screen is the path of the current directory. Our options here are listed at the right of the screen. We can select the directory, choose another drive, rescan the current drive, use this as a pattern, or perform a name search. The other two options are Search and Print Tree. Notice the keystroke commands listed here. We will press 2 for Other Drive. From the drives listing here, we highlight A and press Enter. Here we have the learning disk that comes with this tape. Now, if we want to select this directory, we press 1 or Enter. When we do this, we're returned to our Style Files dialog box. Notice the A:\/ is automatically entered for us as the new directory.
If we press Enter at this point, the directory information is saved and becomes the new path. However, there may be times when we want to change back to the original.
We don't want to use the A drive since it doesn't have any style files on it, so we press the Escape key to cancel the change. Now we're taken to the Location of Files dialog box. We'll go ahead and set a directory here for our backup files. We press number 1 to move to the Backup Files area. We are going to create a new directory for this, so we simply enter it, C:\back. We then press Enter. WordPerfect asks if we want to create this new directory. We do, so we press Y for Yes. The directory information is now entered in our box. To save our changes to this dialog box and leave it, we press Enter. We could also click on the OK button with our mouse. We've worked with one dialog box. Now let's take a look at a different type that has some more features. We will click on the Layout menu and then on Line to see the line format dialog box. We have radio buttons and checkboxes in this dialog box. We select items under Justification by clicking on them with the mouse. Notice only one of these options can be selected at a time. We can also press number 2 on the keyboard and then move the highlight over the option we want with the arrow keys. To select an item, we press the space bar while it is highlighted. Another method for selecting a radio button is to do it by the numbers or letters. We press number 2 or J for justification and then the number of the option we want, such as 4 for full. Another item in this dialog box is a checkbox. When we click on hyphenation or press number 6, we place an X in the box. This means the option is currently selected. Pressing 6 again or clicking on it a second time removes the check mark, or the X. To see another dialog box selection feature, let's look at line spacing. Notice there are two arrows next to this item. To increase the line spacing, we click on the up arrow. To reduce spacing, we click on the down arrow. As with our other options, we can also change the setting using the keyboard. We press the number 3 or S for spacing. Now we simply enter the line spacing number we want. Like we said earlier in the tape, dialog boxes can have dialog boxes. We select option 5 or B for paragraph borders. Now we get a dialog box. We enter 1 or B for border style. This brings up another dialog box. We can press 3 or E for edit and have yet another box. We press 2 for lines and see another. You can see how deep we are into the WordPerfect dialog box system. We press F7 to escape out of these boxes and return to our editing screen. We're finished with the dialog boxes for now, so we'll clear this document by pressing F7 and answering No twice. This returns the screen to the default options. WordPerfect's Print Preview has long been a popular feature.
WordPerfect 6 keeps Print Preview and improves it with some new options.
We first place the learning disc that accompanied this videotape in the A drive. We press Shift F10 and then enter a:/brochure.fnl and press Enter. The file is now on our screen. To get to the print screen, we press Shift F7. We can view the document by pressing V for View or by selecting number 7. Now WordPerfect draws the page on the screen. We can adjust the size of this document view with the help of the buttons at the top. For example, to see it at 100% size, we simply click on 100%. We can see it in even more detail when we click on 200%. We can zoom out 25% at a time by clicking on the Zoom Out button. We see the current zoom level at the lower left corner of the screen. To see the document at its full page view, we click on Full Page. To see the next page in this document, we click on the Next Page button. Now this page is represented on the screen. We can also move to a certain page number by clicking on Go to Page. We enter the page number we want in the dialog box and press Enter or click on OK. We can display thumbnail or smaller views of our pages to see more than a single page at a time. We click on Thumb 8 to see the pages of this document. Notice that one page will have a red line around it. This means that this is the selected page. We can change the highlighted page by clicking on a new one. Any zoom level we choose at this point affects the highlighted page. We will return the selected page to a full page view by clicking on the Full Page button. We can also zoom in on a specific area in this view. We call up the View menu and then choose Select Area. When we press and hold the left mouse button, our mouse pointer turns into a small magnifying glass. We can drag the pointer over a particular area. When we release the mouse button, that area is enlarged to fill the screen. However, the maximum size we can enlarge is 1000%. If you get lost while zooming on your screen, select View and then Reset. We will go ahead and return to our editing screen now by pressing the F7 key.
One of the major changes between this and earlier versions of WordPerfect is the editable WYSIWYG screen.
WYSIWYG stands for What You See is What You Get. In other words, the screen represents the printed page instead of simply consisting of characters on the screen.
There are 3 modes for working with your documents in WordPerfect 6: Text mode, Graphics mode, and Page mode. We'll begin with the Text mode.
If you're a 5.0 or 5.1 WordPerfect user, this blue screen should be familiar to you. This is the default WordPerfect text mode editing screen. The only difference between earlier versions of WordPerfect and version 6 is the default menu bar at the top. Watch what happens as we delete a block of text from this document. The text is quickly highlighted and removed from the screen. Now let's go to the second of our 3 interfaces. We press Ctrl F3 and select 3 or G for graphics. You can also use the menus and mouse if you want. The screen is now redrawn in the graphics mode. We can see several differences between this screen and the previous one. First, we see a representation of how our document should look when we print it. Now let's block define and remove a section of text. We perform this function the same way on this screen as we do on the text screen. Notice the screen redraw is slower in this mode. Let's enter some text here to see how it does. We see the screen changes more slowly than the text screen did. Another change on this screen is the mouse pointer. It is now an arrow rather than a block. The appearance of our menus and dialog boxes is also different. When we click on the Layout menu and then the Line option, we see the same dialog box we worked with earlier in the tape. The menu will work the same, even though its appearance is changed. We can still click on one of the justification options to alter this setting. Let's move on to the next view, the Page mode. We go ahead and select this from the View menu. This view looks a lot like our Graphics mode. However, in the Page mode we can see page numbers and our page margins. The Graphics mode doesn't show these features. We'll place page numbers on this document. We press Shift F8 and select 3 or P for page. We press 1 for page numbering. We press 1 again for the page number position. We select the first option, 1 for top left. We press F7 until we're back at the editing screen. Notice the page number automatically appears and the page is adjusted. Let's return to the Graphics mode to see if the page number remains on the screen. The page number disappears when we are in the Graphics mode screen. We'll stay in the Graphics mode for our next demonstration. This next feature is for you if you've been frustrated with using fonts in earlier versions of WordPerfect. This new version allows you to take advantage of scalable font technology. We'll open a new document by selecting File and then New from the menu bar. We'll make sure the printer we're using is a laser printer. Notice that our default font for our currently selected printer is Courier 10 CPI. When we type a few characters here, we see a Courier typeface. Now let's add some different fonts. We will first open the font menu either by pressing Alt-O or by clicking on it with the mouse. We select Font from this menu and see the Font dialog box. We can click on the font line or press the number or letter F to see a list of the fonts available for our current system. Notice that as we scroll through this list, we see a representation of our text in the resulting font window. We will highlight Swiss 721 Roman, Speedo, and press Enter. Next, we can change the font size. We click on the arrow to the right of the size box and we see a list of point sizes. We can also enter a point size directly here. We'll click on 30. The sample text at the bottom of the screen changes to reflect the new point size. We can also change the appearance of our text by clicking on options in the appearance box. As we click on each of these, we see the resulting change in the resulting font box. We also see the formal name of the font just below the example. We press Enter after selecting the font we want. When we return to the editing screen, we see that our cursor is now much larger in size. Now, when we enter some characters, they are in our new font size. You can use these built-in fonts to create your own professional-looking documents.
Working with a new version of a program can be frustrating as you try to learn the new features. However, WordPerfect 6 makes this easier with an improved on-screen help system.
From this editing screen, we can press F1 to bring up the opening Help dialog box. To get information about using this new help system, we can double-click on Using Help in the lower part of the screen. This next screen tells us that we can press the arrow keys or click on the scroll bar to move through the help topic. Underlined words like click are pop-up terms. When we double-click on an underlined word, a definition appears on the screen. We press Enter or click on OK to remove the box. Bolded terms like help at the top of the screen are jump terms. We can double-click on Help and we see the Help screen on this topic. We can return to a previous Help screen by clicking on Previous. To return to the Table of Contents screen, we click on Contents. Another new help feature is the Coaches function. We click on Coaches and see this listing. Coaches takes the user through a procedure step by step. For example, we'll select Bullet Coach. The next box provides information on the process. We press Enter or click on OK and are then given the first step. In this case, position the cursor. We do this and then press F7 to continue. The next window will either let us perform the bullet steps ourselves or automatically show us the steps. We press Enter for Show Me. Now the menus begin to work and we see another coach prompt. Choose WP characters. We press Enter and are then told to select a particular set, number 4. We do this by going to Set and pressing Enter. We highlight typographic symbols 4 and press Enter. Now we highlight the bullet we want in our text and then choose Insert by pressing Enter. We are told the procedure worked correctly, so we press Enter. That's all there is to working with coaches.
One of the most valuable features of a full-featured word processor is the ability to automate document creation by merging.
In the past, you were limited to merging all records in a WordPerfect secondary merge file. Version 6, however, has a new selectable merge option that gives you more flexibility when merging.
We'll use 2 files off the learning disk for this demonstration.
We start the merge process by selecting Tools from the menu bar. Next, we select Merge. Since our files are already created on the learning disk, we select Run. We're now asked for a form file name. We can press F5 for File List. We enter A: for the directory and press Enter. Our form file is address.frm. We highlight this file and press Enter. Notice that when we do this, WordPerfect 6 automatically suggests a data file. This is the correct one in our case, so we press Enter. When we choose option 3 or O for output, we're shown a list of output choices. We can select the current document, an unused document, the printer, or file. We'll select Unused Document. We'll leave the next 2 features, Repeat Merge and Display of Merge Codes, at their default settings. We press T or click on Data File options to see the selectable merge features. We want Data Record Selection number 9 from this window. We have these 4 choices here: All Records, Mark Records to Include, Specify Record Number Range, and Define Conditions. We will select 2, Mark Records to Include. First, we select which fields we want the records displayed with. After doing this, we see a list of the available records. We can mark and unmark these files using the asterisk key. We'll mark a few files and then complete the merge. Here we see that only the data files we selected were actually merged. This can be a very useful feature. Another new and handy addition to the program is the Quick Finder. Quick Finder is new to WordPerfect 6. It allows you to quickly locate the information you need. To use the Quick Finder, we press F5. From this directory window, we can then press F4 for Quick Finder. Before we can use this option, we need to set it up, so we press Shift F1. Now we see the Quick Finder file indexes setup dialog box. Our only option currently available here is Location of Files. We press 6 to activate this option. We enter 1 for a personal path name. We'll enter C:\WP docs and then press Enter twice. Now another selection is active on the Quick Finder file indexes setup window. We select 1 for Create Index Definition. The first item we fill in here is the index description. We'll enter My WordPerfect Files. We press Tab and WordPerfect shortens the index description name for a suggested index file name. We'll accept this by pressing Tab again. Now the word Add is highlighted in our window. We press 1 or A for Add and the index directory pattern box appears. We'll use the directory pattern of all files, or ***. We can include subdirectories here if we want by clicking on Include Subdirectories. When we're finished here, we click on OK or press Enter to accept the information. Now we see the path and a /S switch for subdirectories in our window. We can press Tab to highlight the Options feature and press Enter to see its capabilities. The first option here controls the level of detail for the indexing. Line is specific and requires a long time of work, while Document is broader and speeds up the process. We will leave this set on the default. The next option, Exclude Files, tells the indexing to ignore any files we specify. Commonly, excluded files are exe and com files. The next three options decide if the text in a document, the document summary, or both are indexed. The next feature will only index WordPerfect documents. The Include Numbers checkbox will allow the index to keep track of numbers along with letters. This is normally on. The Manual Update Only switch should be turned on only if your indexes seldom change. We will leave this feature off for now. When we have these options set up the way we want, we press Enter or click on OK. Our index should be set now, so we press Enter again in the Create Index Definition window. Now we see an item in the index description box. Notice that many of the options to the right are similar to our normal file manager choices. We highlight Generate and press Enter or click on Generate. The program then begins the indexing process. When it finishes, we are returned to the Quick Finder file indexer. The new index, in this case the only one we have, is automatically in the index box. We can enter a word pattern now and press Enter twice to see the files in this index that contain the word WordPerfect. We can limit this list by using comparison operators. We press Escape and then F5 followed by F4 to return to the quick list. This time we'll enter WordPerfect and then press F5. Here we see a pop-up list of word pattern operators. We select and then enter letter. We press Enter twice and see this list. We can now perform many of the common file management features from this menu. We'll press Escape to return to our editing screen.
Most of us use files out of a particular directory over and over. Quick List lets us speed up file retrieval for these frequently used files.
Like the other file management options, we press F5 to begin using quick lists. From our first File Manager List dialog box, we press F6. There are several default quick lists that are pre-made for us by WordPerfect 6. We can create another quick list entry by first selecting option 2, Create. We enter the description of the directory we'll use. In this case, we'll call it Root Directory. We press Tab and then enter the file name and directory. In this case, we simply enter // We press Enter twice to save the current information. Now we see the root directory listing. It's highlighted so we can press Enter to see if it works. We have the directory listing of the root directory in the File Manager window. Let's take this a step further and add a file specification to a quick list. We press Escape and then F5 followed by F6. We highlight the root directory and select option 3, Edit. We want to add a file name, so we select option 2, File Name Directory. We move to the end of this line and enter star.bat. We press Enter twice to save this information. With root directory highlighted in the quick list window, we press Enter. Here we see the results of our quick list efforts. We press Escape or F7 to return to the edit screen. WordPerfect's graphic handling capabilities have always been a little difficult to use.
Version 6 works to improve this situation. Now you can move graphics right on the screen. This is called drag and drop graphics.
We have called up the file text from the VHS Learning Disk into a new document window. To make sure we get the most from this new feature, we make sure the view is in the graphics or page mode. Next, we will retrieve a graphic file from the VHS Learning Disk. We will call up the Graphics menu and select Retrieve Image. We enter the file name /image.bmp. We press Enter. The image is automatically placed inside the WordPerfect document. We place the mouse pointer inside the drawing area and hold down the left mouse button. The pointer then turns into a four-headed cross shape and black boxes appear around the drawing. The cross pointer shows that we can now drag the picture. The black boxes show that the item is currently selected. We can move this image all around the document. We can also size it. We click on the image again to select it. Now we move the mouse pointer over one of the boxes. When the pointer turns into a double-headed arrow, we can then drag to resize the graphic. This new option enhances WordPerfect for desktop publishing use.
In the past, you needed to purchase a separate program if you wanted a computerized grammar checker. WordPerfect 6 has a built-in grammar checker.
We begin our grammar checker by selecting Tools and then Writing Tools from the menu bar. Notice the keystroke for this is Alt F1. We select Option 3, Grammatic. The program loads and takes us to its opening screen. We press I for the interactive check option. The first mistake Grammatic finds is that this sentence is written in passive voice. To see more information on this problem, we press F1 and then Enter. Now we have a description of passive voice. We are also given examples and told how to avoid this grammatical problem. We press Escape twice to return to our Grammatic screen. We'll leave this alone for now, so we press F10. The next mistake is an incorrect verb form. We'll press F10 again to skip this problem also. Now we're told this word is misspelled. We press F2 to see a list of possible replacements. We want to keep our original word, so we press Escape and then F10. We continue to skip over the errors that Grammatic flags. When we're finished grammar checking, we're taken back to the Grammatic main screen. To check our writing statistics, we press T. The software quickly scans the document and provides us with this screen of information. Here we can determine our readability statistics, paragraph statistics, sentence statistics, and word statistics. To see an interpretation of these numbers, we press Enter. We press Escape to return to the Grammatic main menu. We will press Escape again to exit Grammatic. We're asked if we're sure we want to quit the program. We do, so we press Y for Yes. We are then returned to the WordPerfect program. Previous versions of WordPerfect would only let you have 2 documents open at a time.
Version 6 has increased this number by quite a bit. We'll look at the multiple documents feature next. Then, we'll demonstrate the new undo command.
To open another document window in WordPerfect 6, we simply select File from the menu bar and then choose New. We can have 9 documents open at one time. The position indicator at the bottom right of the screen keeps track of which document we're currently working on. We can display these documents in different ways on our screen. We select the Window menu and then choose Tile. Now all our open windows are displayed on the screen at once. Next, let's select the Window Cascade option. Now the documents are staggered one in front of the other. To make one of these windows fill the screen, we can either choose the Window Maximize command or click on the Maximize button on the window. This is the arrow on the upper right corner of the window. We'll maximize one of these windows with text on it to experiment with the undo command. Notice that when we select the Edit menu, that undo is dimmed. This means we can't use this feature. We need to turn undo on. We press Shift F1 to see the Setup menu. We pick Option 3, Environment. We press number 4 or click on Allow Undo to turn this feature on. When we're finished, we press F7 until we return to the editing screen. Now we will change the font of some text. We select the text and change the font. After we've changed the font, we return to the editing screen. We've changed our mind and want the text back the way it was. We can select Edit and then Undo or press Ctrl-Z to undo the font change. This can be a very helpful feature. If you're still using a typewriter to place an address on an envelope, this next feature is for you. WordPerfect 6 has a new envelope creation option. We will type an address in this editing screen to use on our envelope. When the address is finished, we block define it. Next, we either press Alt F12 or select Layout and Envelope from the menu bar. We are shown the default selections for an envelope here. Notice that our highlighted address is placed inside the mailing address section. This dialog box gives us the option of omitting and saving return addresses. We also can add PostNet barcodes if we want. We click on Print to begin the envelope printing.
WordPerfect has improved the macro capabilities and power of version 6 with several new options. We'll demonstrate some of these changes next.
We record a macro in WordPerfect 6 the same way we did in WordPerfect 5.1. First, we press Ctrl F10 or choose Macros from the Tools menu and then choose Record. We enter the macro name. In this case, we hold down the Alt key and press A. This enters Alt A in the macro name box. When we press Enter here, WordPerfect goes into the macro recording mode. We see this message at the bottom left of the screen. Our macro will be the word Apple. When we're finished recording our macro, we press Ctrl F10. Let's see if the macro worked. We hold down the Alt key and press A. The word Apple then appears on the screen. Now let's edit this macro. We press Ctrl F10 again and press Alt A again. We select the Edit Macro option and press Enter. Now we see the macro on the computer screen. If you're familiar with WordPerfect's macro language, you'll notice a difference between version 5.1 and 6. Let's retrieve a larger macro to see more of this new macro language. We press Ctrl F10 twice and enter bullet.wpm. And then we press Enter. We're then asked if we want to replace or edit. We want to edit, so we press E or click on Edit. Here we see the macro that creates bullets. This macro is written like a computer program. It's beyond the scope of this one video to cover all the macro options. Another new item available in WordPerfect 6 are button bars. We are in the graphics view of our computer. We open the View menu and see the button bar and button bar setup choices. We will select Button Bar. A row of buttons appears just below the menu bar. We can perform many common WordPerfect tasks with a single click on these buttons. The standard button bar options include File Manager, Save As, Print, Preview, Font, Graphics View Mode, Text View Mode, Envelope Printing, Speller, Grammatic, Quick Finder, Table Editor, and Search. If you plan on using the button bar, you should experiment with it to see if it increases your productivity.
WordPerfect version 5.1 would let you import spreadsheets and even designate a path for your spreadsheet files. However, version 6 takes this a step further.
WordPerfect 6 has built-in spreadsheet functionality. You can perform many of the functions of a dedicated spreadsheet program inside WordPerfect.
We've created a partial table on the Learning Disk that will help demonstrate this new feature.
We've retrieved table1.via from the VIA Graphics Learning Diskette. We need to add totals to this table. With the cursor located in the table, we press Alt F7. We enter 2 for tables and then 2 again to edit this table. We want a formula here that will add the Eastern and Western numbers. We first click on the cell where we want the formula. We select number 5, Formula. We enter the table formula in this dialog box. We press F5 to see the available functions. We locate some in our list, highlight it, and press Enter. Now we can use the point mode to enter the cells we need to use. We press F4 and then use the mouse or arrow keys to define our block. We see the cell names located in the dialog box when we finish. If the information is correct, we click on OK to place the sum. We can continue this process to create totals for our other sales staff if we want. The spreadsheet option in version 6 isn't meant to replace your full-featured spreadsheet program, but it can handle your basic needs.
Another basic need for many computer users is faxing. Fax boards let you send documents directly from your computer to another fax-capable computer or a standalone fax machine. WordPerfect now lets you fax from inside the program.
To fax from within WordPerfect, we first need the document we want to fax open on an editing screen. We select File, then Print Fax. To fax something, we would simply choose Fax Services and mark the phone book entries we want to use. You'll find faxing is as simple as printing in WordPerfect.
This look at faxing with WordPerfect concludes this video tutorial, Upgrading to WordPerfect 6.0. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of material we've covered, don't.
Don't forget that you can rewind the tape and review the sections where you need more time. Also, when you're ready to learn more about WordPerfect 6, you can choose from these popular titles. We at VIA Graphics would like to thank you for choosing our company for your software training needs.
Remember, if you plan to learn WordPerfect or any other computer software, there is no better way than through video training with VIA Graphics.